Alright guys, we're back. Let me mark down some times here. 1:37:20.
You should do it total elevator style.
Total elevator style. I don't know what that even means.
Elevator music?
Yep.
I'd be down with that. Shit. If I could get the license for it, I would definitely do Richard Cheese. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Oh, yeah.
But he does, like, lounge versions of pop songs. So good.
And other types of songs. Like, I think the first time I heard him was in Dawn of the Dead.
He did the Imperial March lounge style.
Wow.
Some good stuff right there.
Down with the Sickness Lounge style on Dawn of the Dead. That's where I heard him.
In chat, we also have Henley, a fellow D&D streamer. You can catch him in Plunder and Peril on Sunday. You can also find him on Twitch at HENLEY. I have to say, it's actually not that popular on his channel, but I don't know why not. His Fiasco playthrough is fantastic with the sheriff. I'm literally in like the last half hour of it, and it's so tense because people's like offices are being blown up. People are becoming a new sheriff. Things are crazy. I don't know what's going to happen. And if you know anything about Fiasco, everybody's got, like, orange dice. That's all that's left. So everyone is in for a terrible time. Because you resolve based on the color of what dice you have. And everyone's like, I got orange. And everyone else is like, yep, orange, orange. One guy's like, I have white. And you're like, yeah, you're proud. You know, you're doomed. Well... at the end of the break tonight, I was actually going to announce another streamer. I just did Henley, but might as well double down. His name is Swargula. I've actually spoken about him a couple times before. He's just started announcing his all-female RPG playthrough called Misadventures. I think they're playing 5th edition through a homebrew campaign just like Hub. So if you're interested in something like that, check out Swargula. That's Swargula, and that is on Twitch. And you can also check out all his old stuff on the YouTube, which you can find on his Twitch page. I approve of his work. It's pretty good. Dude is a hard-working streamer. Let's get back to the game in progress. People are eating tuna parmesan in Parmigiana sauce and drinking red wine paired with cheese. What's the plan?
It is delicious.
I feel very fancy, sir. But, yeah, now that I'm all fed, let's kill something. I would really like to relieve some stress at this point in the day.
Then I suppose we should go see if we can't track down these halflings. That would be my vote.
Killing little people? Okay.
Halflings, you say?
Which
Halfling
halflings are you tracking down?
Arthur.
Yes.
The halfling whites that summon up animal spirits to consume the flesh of the living.
Oh, yes, of course. The vampires.
But they're only little vampires, right?
Well, there's an experienced elven inquisitor to help guide our efforts, from what I hear.
More elves.
Yep, yet another elf.
Splendid.
And slightly more, loudly and obnoxiously, yes, more elves.
Why don't you guys make a perception check when you say that?
My perception checks are just in the tank tonight.
Wow.
I got a 10.
Terrible rolls tonight.
It's awesome.
We're waiting for Kyron to blow it out of the water here until he fumbles this roll. Fumble!
You mean like that?
So you guys hear some talk going on around you. People are talking about that political officer Stals Torge, squad leader of the Mulberry Legion contingent, They say that some children from the town of Narsh have come forward with new information, and they provided a series of descriptions about some suspects who may have been involved with murdering him. There's all sorts of rumors, from a child with a crossbow shot him in the head to a wizard with blue flame set him afire and threw him down a well. But there's a contingent of elven guardsmen, a small unit heading out there to get information. And everyone thinks it's a great idea that their order should be brought to the eastern human, low-life, rebel scum.
You know,
Maybe it's time to, and you're hearing this on a lot of people's mouths, maybe it's time Narsh was annexed for the Empire. You know, they already send supplies, medicine, and food out there. They're pretty much part of the Empire anyway, right?
you know, perhaps, Kyron, I should take the guard contingent straight to the door of the folks who shot Stalls right in the face. Because I saw it firsthand while you were injured on the ground, recovering. I feel like I need to do something
Would that
to
not
ingratiate myself back
much
to the
of
Mulberry
Narsh-
Legion. Sorry?
Would that not put Narsh to the sword?
I don't think so. Not if I keep it precise to the one house. However, if they go rooting about and they are basically Inquisition's notorial, whatever that word's supposed to be, about it, then perhaps, yes, they could just torch the city.
Maybe you can take some goat's blood and mark it above the correct door at night, so the soldiers know what to look for. Do it some biblical style shit.
Yeah, that always goes well.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, I'm hoping that with my new credentials, I can just accompany the guard there and lead them to it.
With your new credentials.
It seemed to work so far, so why not?
Yeah, to get you in and out of the district where the guild tower is for the Wizards Guild.
Yep, and I need something to basically get the Mulberry Legion off my back again.
I don't know that the Mulberry Legion's on your back.
Well, didn't
the Imperial Guard Auxiliary is
uh-huh.
on your back, right? That's like a civilian agency. The Mulberry Legion is military.
Okay.
It's like the difference between getting the military police and the actual police on you.
Okay.
If the actual police were on you, you'd probably be in some pretty deep stuff. There would be some Jack Reacher type elves showing up. And then they would drop a one-liner like, when I have a military investigation, everyone is a trained killer. And then put on sunglasses and turn and walk away. And then there's an explosion behind him, but he doesn't turn to look. He's so badass.
Are you sure they wouldn't put on mirror shades?
Mirror shades don't exist in this world. Yet.
Yet. Alright.
It sounds like a great invention.
I know, right? But it takes some serious facility engineering in order to make reflective plastic in a world without plastic.
Yes. Maybe a wizard can help pull
Invent
it off.
plastic? Well, I'm pretty sure he would end up being the richest wizard in history.
So I just think it would be a nice show to my would-be watchers.
Well, you did buy me lunch.
Oh, I'm sure that once they see you leading the guard to this door, they'll probably completely drop all charges.
Oh no. But
They won't question why you had this information and didn't come forward with it earlier.
it's not like it's a secret that I was in the town when it happened. That
Indeed.
all is public record. I've been never approached.
I'm sorry, I just scrolled back up through chat and people were like, disregard females, acquire currency. Apparently, we're going back to Meme Town.
So,
Kyron, what are your thoughts on this? You were there, right?
I was.
You may have
and
been unconscious during this event. I actually don't remember.
I was unconscious during this event.
So do you believe him that, I mean, yeah, what do you think happened there? Do you think some kid shot him in the face, or do you think maybe Geth had something to do with it?
Are you Stahl's torch?
Yes, shooting Stahl Shorge in the face with the crossbow.
Well, considering I ritually sacrificed him to Malome Matafa,
Yeah, the Vampire Lord.
the Vampire Lord, I don't remember what his body looked like when I sacrificed him, but
He had a crossbow bolt through the face. It was pretty obvious.
Pretty distinctive birthmarks.
You know, I don't think I've ever actually seen like an actual crossbow bolt to the face, but given the number of fantasy recreations of it, I'm guessing it probably is really obvious when there's a crossbow sticking out.
I actually have a great video that I will send you.
No,
about
I'm
that.
good. I definitely don't need to see it.
No, it's not a real human head. It's.
I still don't need to see it.
Ah.
Let me rephrase my question: is the arrow, or was the bolt?
Still in?
Was
Yes.
the bolt point of entry? No, through the forehead.
Oh yeah,
through
no,
the back
straight
of the
to
head?
the forehead. What happened was Stahl's Torge was banging on a door and like was asking for entry into the house during the undead attack, and a little kid just showed up and was like, bloop, shot him in the face with a crossbow.
Oh.
It was one of the kids I trained with the crossbow.
Yeah,
Yes, it
your
was.
crossbow to do it.
I am absolutely not okay with taking the Mulberry Legion to this site.
Okay, interesting.
Geth's argument is to point them to the one house instead of letting them root around in basically the whole village. Minimize casualties, as it were.
I'm afraid that if we point them to the one house, they will root around the entire village.
There is that possibility.
Because if they find one member of Unity, what's to stop them from finding more?
It's not a. They weren't a member of Unity. It was just some stupid kid. And they should know that.
But I trained the stupid kid.
Say what? You broke up.
I trained the stupid kid.
You don't need to tell them that.
You don't think the kid would tell them, he made me do it?
A little kid versus us?
Yeah, a guy followed around by an intelligence agent. And
Right.
Dante Alighieri.
Traveling troubadour.
Legitimate owner of one passage of bardic immunity.
I think this is a terrible plan. I would love to go find it if these vampires are the good kind or not.
The good kind?
Really? The good kind of vampires. Can you elaborate on a good kind of vampire?
They only suck so much blood before they stop.
The sunshine and lollipop kind of vampires?
The good kind being those with redemption.
All the stories I've heard, there isn't any to be had.
I'll go wherever. I no longer care.
Okay. I love how the party always gets stuck in these ruts. Everyone wants to go in their own direction. It's like no one's watched. I actually haven't watched Supernatural, so do vampires eat cows then? Okay. I mean, that makes sense, right? I like eating cows, so.
Well,
Burgers.
if we want to put some people to rest, I guess that's a good idea. But where would we start?
I suppose we would go meet up with this Elven Inquisitor.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Indeed. More elves.
Well, someone else can do the talking then.
More elves.
I can do the talking.
Okay.
Good. Let's go.
Okay, so the ferry to Kitajaj at this
Let's get
point in the
some-
day is 10 gold pieces right there.
Fresh Parmigiana.
Yeah, you could go visit the Parmigiana estate. Roll for
I do actually have enough to. I think I have enough to go on the ferry. Yes, I do.
How much? How much is the fare? I'm sorry.
It's 10 gold pieces one way. In the morning, it's 20 gold pieces.
I will pay your fare, Staven.
Oh no, don't worry about it.
You can afford this trip?
Yes,
Can you afford the trip back?
we'll see.
Ha!
Do we pay round trip now, or will we pay one way at this point?
You pay one way. Okay,
Yeah.
so you ride the ferry. It actually takes you the entire rest of the day to get there.
It's fine.
You arrive at night in Kitajaj, which is, of course, it's like Little Elf Italy. Okay,
Little
So-
elf. Oh,
it used to be until a few years back. Hub was the farthest city east, and then a bunch of elven nobles were like, "I'm just gonna annex the shit out of this coastal village," and so they rolled up with a bunch of mercenaries and just took over and started a ferry line to Hub, and eventually the elven government decided the threat of unity was big enough that they needed to just place a serious military presence in the town to protect the nobles who live here. And so now we've got this huge farmland estates of the Parmigiana family. And, there's like grapes everywhere. They've got tomato vines all over the place. They've got this huge cheese making area. And throughout it all, there's these canals that go through Kitajaj. So to get anywhere, you just pay 2 coppers. You hop on this canal boat, and they zoom you off faster than you can walk there. I mean, it's pretty much like the Philadelphia of Little Italy. Like, everything's made on a perfect grid. You get everywhere very quickly. Everyone's yelling at each other. They're like, "Hey, get the F out of the way!" Canal boats run into each other all the time. And, yeah, it's not hard to tell where the Elven Inquisitor is, considering that he's parked in, like, the middle of the Kitajaj town square with, like, this enormous tent that's, like, join the Divine Spark and the Amenopheus hunt for the evil vampires. Warlocks in the area, beware, we shall crucify thee, and stick thee upside down and fill their heads with salt to prevent
Wow.
them from ever rising again. And it's like free garlic handed out, wooden stakes. The water here can be used to defend against vampires. There's like pictures of known vampires and vampire collaborators all over the place.
Can I knowledge religion this to know kind of what's myth, what's fact?
Sure. That's a pretty legitimate question.
That's a good roll.
So let's see here. Oops.
Totally gonna get a free garlic clove and eat it.
Okay, so you know the following things about vampires. Vampires can't enter a residence without an invitation from one of the occupants. They are harmed by running water. They treat running water as if they're being immersed in acid. If pierced in the heart by a weapon made of wood, while it is incapacitated and resting, it cannot rise again until the stake is removed. They also take 20 radiant damage in sunlight at any time, and they have disadvantage whenever they're in sunlight.
Oh, we arrived just that night. Perfect.
Exactly. I love
Okay.
steak. Yes, that's what the vampire said. Okay. The Inquisitor still seems to be in business. He's got a bunch of like regular torches and candles all around this huge tent, lighting it up, and he's like, "Citizens, be not afraid. We shall cleanse the dwarven taint from Kitajaj, and soon all will be safe for you. The necromancers, the warlocks, and the vampires shall be driven out. Simply place your faith in Amenopheus."
Necromancers, eh?
Necromancers.
I got a line on a necromancer.
Are you walking up to him and saying that?
No, I'm not talking to this guy.
Okay.
Who are you going as right now, Jim?
Kyron,
So, Kyron, I think this is where you come in.
I will wander up to the Inquisitor and say, "My lord, in the town of Hub, my friends and I learned you seek able-bodied adventurers to help you on your quest against the vampires."
He
Is
says,
this
"Yes. I believe that one of the noble houses in Kitajaj has been infected by a vampire lord. We will begin a pogrom to cleanse them and burn them out, and anything that survives will be given unto the militia that aids me."
And how many more men are you willing to take on your pogrom?
As many as will offer themselves up to great Lord Amenopheus.
And can one participate in the pogrom without being first a servant of the great Lord Amenopheus?
Of course. You need merely to fill out these waiver forms.
And what will we be waiving by doing so?
Of injury, of course. You know, I am not a man of paperwork. I am a man of action, but the gnomes insist that we need these forms filled out so that legal action cannot be taken against the government of Kitajaj.
I will be right back.
This is
May I
very
have 3
well.
forms?
Take your time. I'm sure the common citizens of Kitajaj can wait for the vampires to begin feeding.
I simply need but a moment. May I have 3 forms?
He chuckles and says, "Yes, of course." And then he takes
One sec.
an hourglass and turns it over.
I will rush over to Geth and Staven and say, we can join in a pogrom against the vampires here in town for the low cost of signing away our right to sue in case of injury.
So, what was this about him just going after a noble house and trying to burn everyone? Is that what he said?
Yep.
Interesting.
So I will start reading the form.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
It's basically like an indemnity that they're not responsible for any injury that you take, or that you waive away your right to life if you're turned into a vampire. You basically don't have any contestant against someone trying to kill you once you get turned into a vampire. You're not legally held responsible for anything you do while you're a vampiric thrall.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a nice little clause, I agree.
Does
I'll
it
go
mention
ahead
the
and sign.
name of the noble family on the form or no?
It does not.
Okay.
I think you might be getting some hints, though.
Yeah, we may want to find out a little bit more about this issue before we go bashing through a house or something.
This is just an indemnification waiver. It's not a bind to service.
I don't know what that means.
It means if you sign the contract, you aren't bound to show up and kill people for money.
Oh,
It just means they're not responsible if you show up and get killed for money.
Right. So with that,
It's,
Geth, will sign it and hand it
Okay.
back.
I suppose I'll put my
Chiron
name.
will sign one.
So
I will
who
walk back over to
is?
hand him the forms and say, who is the family in question?
He says, "We will begin the hunt for the foul human noble filth who has dared traffic with Melo Melu Metafa shortly. At midnight we shall begin burning all of their fields."
Yes, Jim.
Oh, damn it.
So are they being burned because there's actually a vampire infestation, or just because they swore fealty to Malo Malu Matafa?
He says, "Oh, I will explain that at the tactical session before the strategic briefing." Actually, the other way around. He says, "I will explain that at the strategic session before the tactical briefing."
Why does that have to tie into tactics? Are there vampires or are there not?
"I will explain everything in time, dear sir. Just wait but an hour, and once the militia is gathered, we shall get out our pitchforks and scythes and torches, and we shall burn out the heretics."
I'm going to have to insist on an answer right now. I will not go slaying innocents.
He says, "There are no innocents in this particular house. Perhaps one or two, but truly, when you are burning out a flock of vampires and warlocks, is anyone really innocent?"
Guess we'll kind of drop the issue and just fall back.
Okay.
But the moment that he's like diverted to continue his gathering the militia,
Yep. Immediately.
guess would like to either wave you two on, or if you're ignoring him, to go to this noble house.
You're gonna sneak away to House Parmigiana?
Just
Oh.
enough to try to see if there are actually vampires.
Okay. All right. Um.
Not trying to enter any buildings, though, just more of a scout.
Okay. All right. Let me ask before you begin this: how will you tell that someone is a vampire?
Well, if the lore is traditional, then pale skin, maybe some rotting flesh, sharp teeth.
Yeah, but vampires are also capable of changing shape to appear regular humans.
Well, if you ask them if they're vampires, they have to tell you. That's how it works, right?
That's also not how it works either.
That's a myth.
That's police officers, not vampires.
Is there a lake by chance?
Oh, yes, running
The
water.
entire city is built on the side of an inner sea.
Or not lake, I'm sorry, but like a river.
Yeah,
or a creek.
I mean, there's all sorts of irrigation canals everywhere, right? For all
Okay.
the crops, plus all the boats that go through the canals here.
So I guess a controlled experiment would be to try to attract the attention of maybe one, and first see if he tries to attack, and two, to see if he can cross one of these running streams of water to actually get to me.
Okay. All right. So you arrive outside House Parmigiana. The house guards are like, "Citizen, it is nearly midnight. What are you doing outside these gates?"
I'll actually speak up at this point. I am
I thought
Sir
he
Staven.
wait, real quick. I thought he said he was sneaking away.
Oh,
Well,
anybody
I
else?
waved them on, but
He
I
brought
was
us.
going anyway if they were
Okay.
ignoring me.
All right.
As
Okay.
long as it's not like, as long as the strategic meeting isn't right now,
It's not until
I'd go with
midnight.
him as well. Okay.
Okay, so you head over to the House Parmigiana gates together.
I will actually request an audience with Lord Roofish.
Okay, make a diplomacy check.
Oh, hell.
You aren't dressed in noble clothing, right? Or are you?
They are. They're tattered and patched, but I do have noble pedigree papers as well.
Okay, you can make this check at advantage.
However, oh yes, of course. Advantage. How is that even possible?
Sneak. So they
Ow.
turn you away. They're like, return in the morning. The Lord is busy now, planning for tomorrow's harvest.
I should tell you there is a militia planning to assault this land. We're here to see if there is any warrant to why they are coming.
The two guards look at each other and they're just like, I've heard of no such militia, and no one would dare attack the arbiter of the Elven Empire, Lord Rufus Parmigiania, on his own estate.
There is such a militia gathering in the town center now. If you wish to go check quickly for yourself.
They look at each other and then they kind of like, one of them keeps an eye on you while the other whispers in the other one's ear, and you hear them say like, "Hey, rookie, come out here. Go with these guys and check the town square, but keep your sword out. Don't let them catch you in an alley alone."
Whoa! Just tell him that Sir Staven is here. We traveled together recently.
They look at each other and like, "Sir Staven, you are the sleeping one."
From time to time, yes.
He says, "Where is your shit metal sword?"
I will show them.
The guards look at each other. He's like, "I can't believe it. It's true. It is a sword made out of the crappiest metal known to man." And the first guard was like, "I told you it was real. Lord Rufus would never lie about such a thing. Only about the number of women he slept with." And the first one was like, "Wait. If he is telling the truth, we could be in serious trouble. We'd better double the defenses here."
Can you instead retreat?
"Retreat! We're the arbiters of the Elven Empire. Lord Rufus Parmigiania is the legitimate authority of all of Itajaj. Why would we retreat?
Then
This
maybe
is clearly
so.
some sort of scheme from Unity. Clearly, we must double the defenses, hold the line, and hoist the majestic turkey flag above the manor."
Can your legitimate authority withstand a violent mob?
"Of course. We could defeat any pathetic rabble. You know the old Elven Empire saying, the tighter you grip your iron fist, the more planets you securely hold in it."
Whoa. Good motto.
How many guards do you have?
"About 30.
Okay. Then perhaps, yes, you may be able to hold this off.
Hold what up?
The militia.
I wonder how much of a militia he will rouse.
How big is the town?
Several thousand, probably about 10,000 people."
Okay. Depends on the kind the
For those
militia.
asking, yes, the flag of the Elven Empire bears the majestic turkey, and not the eagle. Eagles are stupid, turkeys are awesome. Or to put it another way, the Elven Empire was founded by Benjamin Franklin, and that's why it's so bitchin'.
That's a true American bird.
So, is there like a sense motive I can do
To what purpose?
to try to suss out whether this is a legitimate militia raid or if it is in fact a Unity thing?
You would have to be back at the Inquisitor's tent to probably do such a thing.
Okay.
And sense motive would be okay. Also, anything related to noble knowledge. Probably anything charismatic would work.
I'm not seeing a sense motive. Would that be insight?
Yeah, it'd be insight.
Okay. Perhaps we should go back to the tent to get a feel for what's going on. What do you
Learn
two
what
say?
It would be wise to learn what tipped off the Inquisitor as to how this House Parmigiania, how they learned House Parmigiania was in league with Melomu Matafa.
Staven, you claim to have adventured with him recently. Is that charge actually true?
It was daytime. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
Most of the time. Half of the time.
But did he swear fealty to
it was
Maloma
day half
Matapa?
the time.
Did he swear fealty? I believe he said he was some kind of mystic.
He was a cleric of the Divine
Yeah,
Spark, seeking out
yeah.
the Divine Spark's lost holy temple.
He was a holy man. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, he was seeking out the the lost temple of Andurus, a rumored Divine Spark holy site,
Okay.
seeking some sort of magic sword there.
He
Okay.
just didn't have the resources to go all the way to this place or find it for that matter.
Okay. So yes, let's head back with this rookie in tow.
Okay. The rookie introduces himself. His name is Steve.
Hi, Steve.
His name is Steve McFighter.
Steve is a good strong name, sir.
Hi, Steve McFly.
He says, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
Just keep your distance.
Keep my distance from what?
I'll
Let us walk first.
Okay.
I'll ask him if he's noticed anything strange happening around the environs of the Parmigiana estate.
He says, "Oh yeah, we've had a couple folk walking around the edges of the estate for the last couple of days. Sometimes they try to come in and steal tomatoes or the like. You know, peasants."
Mm-hmm. That's about it, though.
As far as I can tell.
Okay, so I guess we're heading back.
So Steve McFighterson is like a young man with red hair who's currently wearing the royal outfit of House Parmigiana over top of his like combat pauldrons.
Red hair.
You know, like World of Warcraft armor. So he's wearing like normal clothing and then he has huge shoulder pads. You know, to show that he's a warrior.
I gotta get me some of those.
Combat pauldrons?
Since I don't wear armor and all.
Doesn't Leroy need those things? Yeah, they could increase his healing. He's a paladin. Calculate a 32.33, repeating, of course, chance of success.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
So, you guys are on your way back to the tent.